Don't move a muscle.
Are you crazy?
Oi Brasil, eu sou a Carol Moreira e eu tô aqui em Atlanta no set de filmagem do novo filme de Dwayne Johnson, Rampage.
Of course the wolf flies.
Dwayne Johnson interpreta um especialista em primatas que não é muito sociável, mas é super amigo de um gorila, o George. E é claro que o George não é qualquer gorila, ele é extremamente inteligente.
Okay. Very funny. You and I laughing at your joke. New guy, he no laugh. He cried.
E como todo filme, é óbvio que algo vai ter que dar errado e a humanidade vai correr perigo. Só uma pessoa muito especial pode nos salvar.
Let's go save the world. It's coming back to me. It's coming back.
He's able to handle situations decently well, but he's also smart enough to know when he has to run so he doesn't get eaten by these gigantic monsters. What a fun character to play. He was a primatologist, and it's so much fun for me because I've never played a character who is surrounded not only by these gigantic monsters, but also who has a best friend who's a gorilla. I love that.
What's happening to my friend?
Are you familiar with genetic editing? Changes will be incredibly unpredictable. So I play Kate Caldwell, and she's a geneticist, and she's responsible for creating a virus that infects a silverback gorilla. And she feels incredibly guilty about this, and so she teams up with Dwayne's character to go on this journey to find a cure.
Hell of a day, huh?
I think he's a little bit of a cowboy. He works for another government agency. We don't know exactly what it is. And he's a cowboy. I don't think he does well playing with others. I don't think he follows the rules because he feels pretty confident in who he is and his knowledge of what's going on, yeah.
Science experiments just falling from the sky, giant gorillas on the loose.
We've created the next chapter in natural selection. Project Rampage works.
She is completely devoid of empathy. But ultimately, I think there's a switch that flips, and there's a bit of insanity. But it was really so much fun and so juicy to be able to play. I've never played a villain before in a film, so it was exciting. I really enjoyed it. Maybe a little too much.
Esse filme é baseado em um videogame dos anos 80, em que gorilas saíam por aí destruindo tudo que eles viam pela frente. Ele foi um sucesso na época porque os jogadores podiam destruir cidades famosas dos Estados Unidos.
It was amazing. I mean, the sets were practical in terms of their size and scale and destruction. And working with the visual effects team who we had, really the best on the planet, they came in very ambitious and very inspired to create these monsters that would have a really long-lasting impression on people. And I think they accomplished it.
Hey, George, it's okay.
I'd say the biggest challenge is that three of the main characters don't exist. Obviously, when you get to the end of this movie and you have a crocodile that's like 4 football fields long, and a wolf that's flying, and a 6-story tall gorilla, and they're not real, and you have your movie star running through piles of rubble and shooting grenade launchers at them, you're in a space as a filmmaker where you're asking a lot of people to trust you.
Set. Okay, and action.
Never done a monster film, certainly, where I'm trying to imagine a 50-foot gorilla or a flying wolf or an alligator the size of a football field. That never crossed my paths before. He had storyboarded live scenes into computer generated, so I could see like the whole plane sequence play out before we even shot it via computer animation.
I was just thinking the only thing that's missing right now is a giant crocodile.
The reality is that most of this movie, I would say 70% of this movie, did not exist in reality, right? It's all CGI, so it's all added in post. And I had no idea how it was all gonna look. We had to just use our imagination, and we'd be told, like, look at number 2, a building's falling down. Look at number 5, a monster's coming towards you. Really, we were acting against nothing.
George, you okay? Good to have you back, buddy.
One of the big things that we did was we cast someone to play George. And luckily, even within those scenes where there is no main characters in real life, we had the actor, so there could be an interaction.
É a terceira vez que o Dwayne Johnson e o diretor Brad Peyton trabalham juntos. Antes, eles fizeram Terremoto, A Falha de San Andreas e Viagem 2, A Ilha Misteriosa. Peyton é famoso por incentivar os atores a fazerem suas próprias cenas de ação no lugar dos dublês. Então podemos esperar suor de verdade aqui nesse set.
I love working with Brad Peyton. This is our third movie together, and I always felt like Brad was the perfect director for a movie like this because it's a big movie, it's an entertaining movie. There is calamity, there's damage, there's destruction, there's heart. He's a perfect director for Rampage, and he's awesome to work with.
We're gonna die!
Probably!
I was on the fence about the project, and Brad got on the phone to me and he started speaking, and he was so passionate and he was so enthusiastic and he was so energetic, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? After coming off the phone, I was like, I have to sign up to do this movie because this guy is, he's just amazing. He's filled me with energy, and he was exactly like that every day on set.
Let's try not to get killed, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
No one better at kind of the big blockbuster action star, self-deprecating, awesome dude than Dwayne Johnson.
When I say awesome, I'm talking about.
Dwayne is the master of this kind of genre.
That's a big arm. Don't fight it. I do know that, yeah, but that's no fun.
If anybody's going to hold your hand throughout this experience, you want it to be Dwayne.
All right, George, we got to stop these things before they destroy the city.
The most rewarding aspect is in the collaboration process between us is that he's so different. He's so unique. He has so much irreverence and sense of humor, and he brings so much of that to the table.
Of course, the wolf flies.
To be able to work with him, I think I was more than thrilled, and he met all those expectations and more.
E agora a gente está aqui na parte externa dos estúdios, onde eles construíram esse set gigantesco da cidade toda destruída. Mas o mais legal é que é tudo feito de mentirinha, gente. Isso aqui é tudo isopor, plástico, madeira, coisas aleatórias destruídas, um helicóptero enorme enfiado no meio do cenário. E outra coisa interessante é que eles pediram pra gente vir usando tênis ou sapato fechado para não se machucar aqui nos escombros.
And the sets kind of matched this movie. They were huge. I mean, the plane, for instance, they built what I think a C-17 is what that plane was called, and it was on a massive gimbal, so it moved, which helps us a great deal as actors, instead of having to do a camera and everybody lean on the count of three, and that never works out. We were actually on a plane that was moving, so we were able to fall all over the place and kind of do our thing. But everything was huge. Everything is quadrupled in size compared to a normal movie, and that just kind of goes with all things rock and Brad Peyton. I think the two of them together, you're walking into something that's bigger than you, certainly.
God damn.
The thing that I love about doing a film like this is that you, like the green screen stuff is, you need to use your imagination a bit more, of course. It's not as simple as acting with another actor, but what I love about it is after the fact, when you finally get to see the film, you're part of the audience. I mean, there's so much mystery while you're filming, and when you finally get to see it, it's so exciting. It's a whole new level. So I really enjoyed the result. But we had so much fun. It was a great time filming it.
If I had to create a fourth one, well, I've already created a fourth one in my head, and I don't want to talk about it because if they do a sequel, it's going in there. If there's a sequel, it will be so obvious.
Having George on that plane is a big mistake.
I think we'll be all right.
E aqui do C-17, o avião onde se passa a maior parte da ação do filme, eu me despeço de vocês. Espero que vocês tenham curtido esses bastidores tanto quanto eu, que eu fiquei curiosíssima, eu vou correndo pro cinema. Espero que vocês também. Até a próxima. Tchau.
It's very entertaining, though.
Hello, Brazil, and muito obrigado for all of your support, and I cannot wait for you guys to see Rampage.